Hey everybody, Crypto Stu, and as I mentioned in the our first live session yesterday, I thought it'd be worthwhile to start to put together a series of short educational videos, just covering the basics of things that you probably want to know before you get started trading. So, in this series, first of all, I'm going to go do a walkthrough of the TradingView platform, and how you can customize that for your own preferences. Then we'll have a look at candlesticks, the basics of how candlesticks are formed, what they may be telling you in the market. We'll have a look at support and resistance and how we draw that, trend lines, maybe start to have a look at some indicators and starting to look at divergences as well. So all the stuff that Bill was talking about in the first session, I thought it'd be worthwhile just having something that you can go back to and review without having to watch a full length recording of a drop-in session. So to begin with, let's have a look at TradingView. So this is our recommended platform for charting. Obviously, you don't execute your trades on TradingView. This is simply for doing your chart analysis. And you can set up a free account. And for most people, the free account is going to be more than enough. I do have the first level of paid account. It just gives me a little bit more flexibility with having multiple time frames on my chart, so I can have a daily chart beside a 15-minute chart, for example. It also allows me to set some more alerts, and I can have a few more indicators on the chart as well. But it's not necessary, and maybe it's worthwhile rewarding yourself with an upgrade once you've made some money in your trades. So the first thing you probably want to do is customize how your chart looks to a way that feels comfortable for you and you can easily read what's going on. So my chart's fairly basic. And if you just right click on the chart, go to settings and symbol, you can change what how your candles look. So I've got green for a bullish candle, black for a bearish candle. If you wanted to change that to green and red, for example, you could do that here. So you've got the body color, you've got the border color, and then you've got the wick color as well. So that could be an option. I prefer the green and black, and I think Bill has a grey and black from memory from his chart. So that's how you can set that up. I set my time zone to New York time. Although I live in the UK, this is kind of the international time zone for trading, whether you're trading crypto, stocks, foreign exchange. New York time is kind of the how where trading sessions start and finish. So I would recommend setting it to New York time as well. And then other than that, you can set your canvas, so the color of your background. You can choose to have grid lines, so you could have horizontal grid lines, and that's, as we can see here, that's just putting a grid line on some of the major round numbers, so 70,000, 72, 74. You may find that helps you. Sometimes these round numbers are big psychological levels, and you'll maybe see a reaction at these big psychological levels, so it's up to you. I tend not to have them turned on. The crosshair, just when you're moving your cursor around the chart, you can see where you are. And then a watermark, I think, for if we're going to be sharing charts in the Telegram group, it's worthwhile having a watermark so that we can see what asset and time frame we're on. So, for example, it's difficult for me to tell here, other than the small BTC Bitcoin US dollar in the top corner. But I've got the watermark on. It's easy to see, and you can change the opacity of that. I prefer having it so that it's pretty faint, so that it's not distracting my eye too much. And then, other than that, I'm not really doing too much else to my chart. One thing that you can do here that's worthwhile knowing is you could, if you like this layout, you can save that as a template. So I might just call this crypto trading as a template. So that would be, and now if I want to, I've got another one. So this is a blue black setup with a white background. I've got uh, a black background with green and red candles. So it's, if you can have these templates that are very easy to switch between. So I'm going to go back to my crypto trading template that we just set up. Okay, so that's the main chart setup. Other thing that's worthwhile knowing here, if you right click on the price scale on the right hand side, I quite like having this countdown bar to close on, and it just has a little countdown as to when the new candle is going to open. So this is more useful on shorter term charts. So it's going to show me that the next candle starts in 3 minutes 35 seconds. In terms of scaling, so obviously we can see here that my chart is bunched up. What I can do is if I just double click on the price scale on the right hand side, it will automatically fit the price action into the appropriate scale that we're in. You can do the same with the time scale at the bottom, and then once you've got that, you can zoom in and out using your mouse. You can change the scale by clicking and holding down, so squeezing it in or moving it out. There's lots that you can do to be able to navigate this space, this canvas that you've got. Other than that, let's on the right hand side here, so you've got menus here. You can have a watch list set up. So I've got a few different watch lists. I've got one for LPs that I do in. So it's just got a list of the assets that I'm interested in for LPs. And then we can have a trading one. And in my trading one, I quite like to have a look at what gold's doing, what dollar index is doing, Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of the so this is the S&P 500. This is the Nasdaq. This is the Dow Jones. Just to see what's happening in equities, because there are correlations at times with what's happening in the crypto market. So the way to set up a watch list is you could create a new list and just call this test. So now I have a test watch list. Now in the top left hand corner, you can search for assets. So you can search all, or you can be looking for stocks, funds, futures, foreign exchange, crypto, indices, etc. We're obviously going to be focusing mainly on crypto. So if we look at Bitcoin, and again, there's going to be different price feeds that you can have access to. So Bitstamp, Coinbase, Crypto.com, Binance. I tend to go with Binance or Crypto or Coinbase, but it may be worthwhile having a look and seeing which one you prefer. So once you've got the chart up, if you right click and then put add BTC USD to watch list, and then click the watch list that you want. So what I find quite useful sometimes is to have two of the same asset, so but having a different price feed. And that just means if I just want to see a clean chart, I don't have to worry about hiding drawings or removing drawings. So if I just add BTC, if I add the Bitstamp BTC and I add this to test as well, and then if I go into this Coinbase version and I start, popping in drawings, and then I can just quickly go to BTC USD, another price feed, and I don't have to worry about seeing those drawings. So I sometimes have a couple of different versions of the same asset in my watch lists for that purpose there. And then you can just toggle between your various different watch lists. So that's watch lists. And then this is where you can see your alerts that you've set up. You can look at any objects. So these are everything that you have on the chart in terms of drawings, etc. And then another quick thing, if I was to populate this with a bunch of drawings, and then I'm bored of those, you can right click on the chart and remove all drawings nice and easily. That cleans your chart. Another thing that you can do, if let's just put another few drawings on here, is you can hide drawings. Which, and then you can see if you look at the object tree here, it's not showing that, it's hidden for some reason. Anyway, now if I was to put another drawing on, everything would pop back up. So I can then go in here and hide drawings again, and then I can unhide drawings, or I can add a new drawing. So I'm going to remove all of these again. And then you've got a space where you can, if you've got analysis that you want to make a note of, you can put that in your ideas. There's then public forums, etc. I never really look at any of this stuff. But that's your toolbar on the right hand side. On the left, at the top here, you've got your time frames. And if you click on this down arrow here, if you add a star to any of these, then it's going to appear in this list up here. So if I unstar that one, the 1 minute is removed. I don't really want the 2 minute on there. So 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, and sometimes I have a look at the 2 day, the 3 days not really needed, and the weekly chart. And that just means they're easily accessible up here. And then to add an indicator to your chart, it's just in this indicators section. You can search for indicators, so relative strength index, for example, which is RSI. And once again, you can mark this as a favorite, which means it will then show up in your favorites menu here. If you ever buy an indicator, then you will see those in invite only. Some indicators on TradingView you need to pay for. And I think that's it for indicators. You can set up indicator templates similar to your chart template. So I could just call this RSI and save. And then I could change to a series of different indicators. So as you can see, that's just changed the indicators that are on my chart. And then I went back to RSI, and that's got the RSI. So you can set up templates for your indicators that you might find useful. What else is good to know? So the oscillating type indicators, you can make them smaller or bigger, and if you double click on the oscillator, it makes that full screen. Double click on it again and it pops it back. And then you've got layouts, so you can have different layouts. So I've got a layout for notes, for example. I've got a layout for crypto. This is usually what I use for my LPs, for example. So you'll see I like to have it as a completely different chart setup because this it just makes it easier for me to understand whether I'm looking at my LPs or whether I'm looking at trading. So you would just create a new layout here. Anyway, I'll go back to the notes one, which is the one I've been using for trading recently. And yeah, if you have a paid plan, you can change, depending on what paid plan you have, you can have 3 different time frames on your chart, 4 different time frames. With my paid plan, I can only have 2 side by side, either side by side or one above the other. I prefer side by side. And then if you do have these, if you kind of hover over the screen, you'll see an option to kind of make that full screen. You can also close that in here at the bottom right hand corner. And so on and so forth. And you can have this set up so that it's always the same asset between the two, or that you can look at two different assets side by side. That's up to you. And then you've got the drawing tools here on the left hand side. So what I find quite handy is having this favorites toolbar set up here. And I do that by just this star at the bottom left hand corner. You can click that on or off. And so inside of the drawing tools, again, you can just star any of these drawing tools that you use frequently. So, I use trend lines frequently, horizontal lines, horizontal rays. So the difference between a horizontal line and a horizontal ray is that the ray starts from where you place it and moves to the right, whereas a horizontal line goes the full length of the chart. So yeah, you can pick and choose what you want on here. You've got fibs, which we'll talk more about in upcoming lessons. You've got, these are harmonic patterns. I don't think that Bill really gets involved with harmonic patterns. This is quite useful for showing your positions. So if you're setting up a long position, let's say I'm entering, let's make this full screen. If I want to enter here, stop loss here, take profit up here, and it's going to quickly show you your risk to reward ratio. So for every $1 you risk, you'd be looking to make $4.32 as an example. So they're quite useful. Then you've got the kind of drawing tools, the brush, etc. I use that a fair bit. And anyway, have a look through these. You can then also have it so that if you're drawing trend lines, that it snaps to high, low, open or close. We'll talk more about that on when we look at candlesticks. But the magnet can sometimes be helpful. Sometimes it's a bit of a hindrance. So I usually just have a weak magnet on. And then you can hide drawing tools. There's some other settings here that I never really use. You can lock all your drawings so that you can't play around with them, and then you can unlock them. And I think that is a bit of a whistle-stop tour here for TradingView. Have a play around, but that is certainly the basics, I think, covered. Any questions, as always, just ask in the Telegram, and myself or Bill will get back to you as soon as we can. Cheers.